All right, cool. What's going on, everybody? So I am super excited about today's video and episode. I have my man Rich here, who's a part of the Inner Circle, and we were just chatting. Usually we do a 3 to 5 minute chat before the call, and it ended up being like a 20, 30-minute chat because this guy is super brilliant and intelligent, and the way he thinks outside the box and problem solves is really crazy. And in this episode, I want you guys to learn a little bit about his journey, where he's at, where he plans on going, some of the problem solvings, and some of the amazing wins that he's got. You know, he got a product that he launched and got it up to 10K in revenue in 1 month. So Rich, why don't you start by telling everybody a little bit about yourself, where you were before Amazon, what made you want to get started, and pretty much where you were before joining the AMZ formula.
Hi, everybody. My name is Richard Bernard. I am just your everyday average Joe. I was a mechanic that recently promoted to supervisor, so I got a little bit more desk time. I can spend a little bit more time on the laptop. But I was just a mechanic, and I don't want to be a slave to that 9 to 5 rig. I think there's something better out there for all of us. I came across Josh's Instagram about 3 years ago, and I've been just hitting this as hard as I can ever since. And this is where we are.
That's awesome. So would you say, like, I know you said that you're in the 9 to 5, to be promoted like that, you must have been doing that for a while. Is that what motivated you to really get started in entrepreneurship or with Amazon, or what really motivated you to get started and decide to take that leap of faith and, join a program and go all in with the new business? Because this was new to you, right?
This was 100% new to me. The way that my generation grew up on was all the traditional ways of thinking,
Wow.
Go to school, get a good job, put 30 years in, and then hopefully you make it to retirement. And being in the trade, unfortunately, not everybody makes it to retirement. I just felt that there's got to be something better than giving away 30 years of your life and then maybe, if you're lucky, enjoying 10 years of it, what have you. It's not a good time to enjoy retirement and travel and do all the things when you can barely sit, barely walk, barely breathe, barely run. I just think that there's got to be something better than this. But I was a mechanic. Man, it's been 20 years now that I've been in this field. So I'm in a supervisory position, and it's basically being a glorified babysitter. And it's great to be able to have something you can fall back on that you can do with your hands, right? If the internet were to shut down one day in some apocalyptic way, I can always fall back on something that I can do with my hands and provide. I'll never starve, right? So it's good to be able to have a skill that you could do with your hands. I got that covered. But I refuse to I refuse to be a slave to this everyday labor. I refuse to be a slave. I refuse to rot in a supervisor chair in an office. It's just not me.
Wow.
So I want to spend more time with the family. I want to find an avenue that I can help my friends and family, maybe, teach them how to do it. Some of my goals are to pay my parents' houses off. My dad's retired, but he's still busier than when he was working full time.
Wow.
So he still has a mortgage, So one of my goals is I wish to pay off my parents' house. That would just
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to do that one day. So we're going to be actively working on that.
I can't wait to do that one day. You will do that one day. I believe you're going to do it one day.
Exactly. But Josh says it all the time. Don't stop. Once you start, you're only going to fail if you don't start and quit, right?
Yep.
So those are repeated in my head almost every day. This stuff ain't easy. I'm not going to glorify, this was a easy thing to do.
Absolutely.
It takes time, and you got to stick to it. Keep going.
Man, that's amazing. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get, Rich, and I want to just take a second just to hit on. You've been in a career of 20 years. You have a family. You've got 4 kids. I've only got 2 kids, and I'm busy. So how did you manage a full-time career, being a supervisor, having a family, 4 kids? How did you manage the time to dive into this new business, learn this new business, joining the program, and working on your business? What did that schedule look like? Because so many people, they're always looking for the right time. Oh, well, I'm too busy. I'll do it when I have more time. I'll do it when the timing is right. And I always tell people that the perfect timing is never, right? The perfect timing is now. So talk briefly about that. Like, how do you juggle that? What does that schedule look like for you?
Man, you just got to make it happen, man. If not you, then who?
Wow.
Make it happen.
Wow.
You got to have I have a really good partner. I've been with my wife for a really, really long time. We've dated for a really, really long time. We were
Wow.
basically childhood friends. She's very supportive. She helps me with my listings and stuff, so she's all about it. Um, Juggling four kids, it's definitely a challenge. It's very easy to not look at it from the other person's shoes and be like, hey, it's not fair. I'm stuck here with the kids while you're out there playing with your laptop. You know, you got to work as a team, you know. And I've put myself in a position where I'm lucky enough to where I do have an office all by myself. I see the bosses once a year, you know, if things are good. So I actually power through my things to do, and then I'll use my break times, or if I'm done early, whatever free time I have, I'm gonna dedicate to this. I'll look at a course. You got a lot of material out there, especially if you're in the inner circle, gold in there.
My
There's a
man.
lot of videos to see. You know, you can spend hours in there. So, whatever free time I have, I try to dedicate to just learning. You know, it's something that once it's in your mind, nobody can take away from you.
Wow.
The four kids, yeah, that's just working out a schedule with the wife, and I've put myself in a position to where, yes, I have a 9 to 5, but I can work stuff around. You know,
Mm.
I'm in an office position to where I can be on I can have this laptop going and my work going at the same time. You're gonna multitask. That's all there is to it. You know, there were many long nights staying up till 11, getting up at 4. This is the time in the trenches. You just got to put in the time. That's all there is to it.
Got it, man. So that's amazing. A lot of gold. So the more you learn, the more you earn. And essentially, what Rich is saying, guys, is absolutely right. You have to go all in. If you don't go all in for your dreams, you go all out on them, right? If you don't sacrifice for your dreams become the sacrifice. He's got something that's working. He has an amazing relationship. He has an amazing situation going on, but knows there's more. And for many of us, we know there's more. The difference between ever obtaining that and making it real is actually going after it. So kudos to you, man. Again, just being able to do this and really just being able to persevere and take action. With that being said, you said there was a lot of gold in the inner circle. When it comes to the program, right, and you're in the inner circle, which is our top tier program, what was your initial experience? Like coming into something new, coming into a new program, maybe new into our world, like what was your initial experience like? And was there anything that stood out for you with the program that maybe was better than expected or different or unique or any of those?
The initial reaction when people come across this, knowing nothing, and I mean no offense to this, oh man, this thing's a scam. Here's another gentleman that's just selling a digital
Wow.
product, right? You know, so the initial impact, as well and as professional as you made it out to be, is oh my God, this might be another scam. You know, do your research, do your homework. Mr. Josh over here is a very established man. It doesn't take much, looking around. This is the real deal right here. The inner circle has I've never made a better investment. Okay.
Wow.
I bought the Amazon formula first, right? Which is a very great way to start to understand the layout, to throw yourself at it. If you are one of those that are DIY, you want to do it yourself, go for it. Look, I did the same thing, trying to figure it out. It just takes a little longer, but you come out more knowledgeable, right? You're figuring it out the hard way. It's going to be hard. Throw yourself at it, man. Don't stop. And then I bought into the inner circle because I was running into so many unique situations that just I wanted somebody to talk to,
Wow.
So the coaching is just a way to have somebody maybe not necessarily one-on-one. The classes are pretty small. You will have your time to talk to a coach, which is great. Sometimes you buy a course and you think it's one-on-one, and then there's like hundreds and hundreds. And I've done this, I bought a link to a Zoom class, and there were hundreds of people inside the class. There's no way you're going to talk to that person,
Right.
The coaching in this course, make sure that they get to you. You will be heard, and you will get your issues solved. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's a lot of times people say it's worth gold. This is priceless,
Wow.
The coaching I'll say has been priceless to me.
That's amazing.
It may be steep for some people. I did too, I'll be completely honest with you. I paid for this course instead of my mortgage.
Wow.
When I bought the Inner Circle, I couldn't make my mortgage that and I got friends in those places and I worked it out. When I say it was tough, it was tough. I couldn't make the mortgage that month. I bought the course. Okay? So those of you that are coming up with excuses, I've heard them all. Get rid of them. Go. Get it done. Find a way. If not you, then who? Who's gonna do it for you?
Wow.
Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. So I'm kind of losing my track. My
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I commend you. Like for anybody who's listening or watching, success is simple, but success is also replicable, right? You can replicate it. It is not difficult. I'm an avid believer, an advocate for making success simple. And brother, what you're saying and what you've done and the steps that you're in and where you are right now, you're going down the path towards where you need to be in order to become successful. It is not some snap a finger, hit a keyboard, your life changes. The 1% has what they have only because of one thing and one thing only. It's not because of how they look, how they were brought up, whom they know, their ethnicity, their religion, their beliefs. None of that exists. The one thing is they are willing to do what the others will not. The 1% is willing to do what the 99% will not. You said something very powerful. You put yourself in a position to where it has to work or it has to work. And I genuinely hope that everybody understands and believes this. I've had the pleasure, I've been an entrepreneur now over a decade. I've been a consultant since 2018, and I've coached from stage, one-to-one, one to hundreds. And over the years, I've noticed one common thing. And Tony Robbins says that if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boat. The most successful people that have came through our programs, or that I know outside of Amazon, have all done one thing, and that was go all in, and literally it has to work or it has to work. There's no other option for it to work or not to work, because it's the people that go into it with the mindset of the mentality that I'm going to gamble, I'm going to test, I'm going to try, I'm going to see, I'm going to hope. You have to become successful in your mind before you can become successful in your life. So if you have stinking thinking, right, the rest is pretty much history. So again, man, I just can't do anything but commend you for that. And I think that's going to help a lot of people's lives.
I'll even add this. It takes an enormous amount of sacrifice and discipline to be successful, if it doesn't hurt somewhere, you ain't doing it right. I'll just put it like that.
That's good.
If you have a goal and you're not hurting, you're not doing it right. You're not putting in enough. There's something else that you can do.
That is so powerful.
A lot of the guys I hang out with, we're all into hunting and fishing. I sold my 4x4, dually truck with a Lance camper on it.
Wow.
It was the perfect system for me and my kids to go out, and we made memories for a few years. But when it came time to, hey, I need to find a way to financially do this and take care of business at home, like you said earlier, four kids and a wife. We don't want that many headaches. Love her. But you got to make the sacrifices, that truck and Lance camper, it may be silly to some, but that was my number one thing that just kept me going. This is what, after having the stress of a supervisor, the stress of sending, sometimes 10 grand and a silly amount of money to China, not knowing what the hell's going to happen, an insane amount of stress, and you can't make your mortgage. You got a lot of people writing on you. And now the one thing that keeps me happy, I sold all that. Gone, sacrificed it.
Wow.
I'm still over it, right? That hurts. Silly to some, but it had to be done.
Right.
You gotta make some sacrifices and just get it done.
You said something that was powerful. If there's no pain, you're not doing it right. And I'll say it in a different terminology so you guys understand, because I don't even think you guys understand how powerful what Rich is saying is. Growth, the science behind growth, right? All things in nature, all things that reproduce after one kind, so from nature to us humans, they go through a stage of growth. And there is no growth without pain. In fact, if you're a parent like we are, you've heard your children complain about their body aching. It's called growing pains. So the fact that you're saying this just blows my mind, because you know, Rich isn't a motivational speaker. He's not an educator. He's an everyday person just like all of us who's in the trenches with you guys building his business so he can secure his family's future and he can literally provide more for his family's future. And he's telling you guys, hey, if you're scared, hey, if things get a little red, hey, if you don't feel like doing it, these are all normal things, right? They're called growing pain. And so again, man, that's so phenomenal. Like, let's talk about the implementation. So you dove all in, you knew you had to make sacrifices to go all in, and you got started. How easy would you say from someone who's a mechanic, right? You have no idea, nothing about the internet, not about Amazon. And of course, this isn't easy, but talk about the implementation of the actual material and getting started from someone who has no experience about Amazon, no experience online, getting the business up and running, the brand and navigating and finding products and talking with suppliers all the way in China. Like, would you say it was as difficult as you thought? Or talk about that process.
That part in itself was actually, once you apply yourself, it turned out easier. Another little tidbit of information, it's going to be harder. You make it harder for yourself in here before you even try. Before you even try to tackle the task, the list on the AMZ formula that you have out, you're going through these tasks, and before you even start, a lot of us stop up here, you know? Oh, I'm going to reach out to a manufacturer. I don't speak Chinese. I don't speak, you know, whatever language it is that you're dealing with. I can't do this. I might have to learn a new language. You won't find out until you try. So start at step, quit thinking a little too fast and killing it up here. Start with step one. Start with step one foot in front of the other, and just don't stop. Keep going. Your layout was simple and easy to understand. I took my time, maybe a little too much time, you know, like I said, it's been 3 years, to just go step by step and thoroughly understand the process. Reaching out to manufacturers using Alibaba is pretty straightforward. As long as you follow Josh's, you know, recommendations, don't reach out to a manufacturer all nilly-willy. If you don't look professional, if you don't know what you're talking about, they won't waste time with you, you know?
Right.
There's a way to do things. There's a way to conduct business, and we go over all that good stuff. The process itself, once you do it, a little easier than you think. It was not bad. And then, you know, as you're going, you're picking up all these skills. You're learning all these lessons, you know. Now the manufacturer, okay, now you're talking about, here's something that you want to create. How are we going to create it? What do you want it to look like? Okay, well, you know, I'm a mechanic. I am not an artist by any means. I'm really good with hammers and breaking stuff, I'll tell you that. But, you know, I don't know how to create a product and make it look good and this, that, and the other. The resources are there. You know, there's, like we hear, most of us have heard growing up, there's an app for that, right?
Right.
When it comes to creating stuff, you know, using Fiverr and Canvas and all these other things, it makes sense. There's resources to use to reach out to, and oh well, I don't have the money. Well, just reach out, find out how much it is. You're saying you don't have the money. You didn't even look at how much it costs.
Wow.
You know, it costs like $20 to make my company logo. You know, quick little sketches. I told the artist what I'm looking for, what the theme I'm after, and went to a few of them, and they all came back with little designs, and you pick the one you like and keep going. You know. So I'll say that the overall process of starting and getting to where I'm at now, the process itself and understanding it is fairly easy. One step at a time. Don't stop yourself in here. This right here is almost your number one enemy. Okay, you're gonna stop yourself in here. You got to get past that. I'm not good enough. I don't have the money. I don't have the skills. Get them. What are you doing about them?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, you know,
Exactly.
it's not almost, it is the number one enemy. The enemy is in the inner me, and if it's meant to be, it's up to me. You're the only person that can get you where you want to go. No one's coming to save you. So you are spot on, dude. I mean, and here's the thing. For those of you listening, I know you said it took you maybe longer than you would have liked or longer than it should have. This is a race. This thing called success, this thing called entrepreneur is not a race. It is a marathon. And in a marathon, in any sport, no one remembers who got to the halfway point the fastest. It's who got to the end, the finish line, right? So it's not about how, it's about when. And when you understand that, like, we know this thing works, we know we're on the worst thing that you can ever do is rush or speed or compare where you are to where other people are, because what happens, and I see it over and over and over and over again, is then you start to compromise. You start to compromise your numbers, compromise where the vision that you have, you start to compromise your critical thinking. So I often tell people, because we are all programmed the same way. And in today's day and age, even us who are older, who, you know, we were brought up a different way and things were different at those times, are like the delayed gratification in today's society is increasing. What does that mean? Things are getting faster, right? When we want entertainment, we can get it within a second, half a second, by clicking our phones. If we can't make supper or food, we can go in our refrigerator, get something, in our freezer, get something, and make a meal for our family within minutes, right? And all of that is reducing. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to try to reduce or shorten the time that it would take for us to become successful at compromising what needs to be done in order to become successful. And you hit on something. You were talking about the list. Like, it's easy if you follow the list and you do what the team is telling you about. A lot of people don't know about this, right? And my team's probably going to kick me in the rear end for talking about this, but I want you to kind of hit on that, because we only have 2 secrets to helping people become as successful as possible, as quickly as possible. One is action. That's the first part of the framework. The second part is accountability. We believe that if we can get people in our community to take action as fast as possible, and we can hold them accountable throughout the process, that they have a higher chance of succeeding. So when you're talking about the list, I believe you're referring to the Asana, right? The Asana board, or the Airtable board.
Yeah, that's one of them. I was referring to your AMZ formula.
Okay, so the actual punch list of what needs to be done. Okay.
Right, I was referring to that.
So would you say following that list really helps you stay on track and stay on step with what needs to be done next, and what you need to do to get to the next level?
100%. And if you do, you know, if you have the means to get into the inner circle, do it, because I'll tell you, Mr. Henry Cruz and Eileen, they are on my butt, you know. They will catch me lagging and say, hey, where are you at? What are you doing? Let's go, you know. And that's awesome, you know, because let's be honest, most of us need that little kick in the butt sometimes. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, once you got up and running and you got live, found your product, did the research, got through everything, created your brand, got your product manufactured, shipped. When it hit Amazon, let's talk about the growth and the results that you got with your product. You should have, if you haven't already, received the 10K award, because your brand was able to do 10K in revenue in a 30-day period. How did that feel? Like, talk about that process and a little bit about the growth and results that you've gotten.
Well, it's definitely scary at first, you know. A lot of people, they mention that, you know, you gotta get past that. You can't stop yourself at that fear. You know, getting that product made, sending that money to China, it's all scary. I believe I launched roughly 2 weeks before Christmas, right? Everybody's talking about that fourth quarter. That's where that's where a lot of people make it big. The numbers are, don't do product research in the fourth quarter, by the way. That'll skew your results a little bit. But I was able to launch my product. I was live roughly 2 weeks before Christmas, and I almost sold out. I did make 10 grand in sales. Okay. A lot of you would hear numbers like that and say, hey, oh, that's 10 grand in sales. That's all profit. Not necessarily, you know. I'll be very real. I'm not after profitability. I'm paying to play. I want to be running real high on Amazon's algorithm, you know. So yes, I made 10 grand in sales, but I spent a lot in PPC, advertising, and all that stuff, and that's okay. The products flew off the shelves. Customers were receiving them, and the reviews were coming in. You wanna get on top of that algorithm, get those reviews in, you know. And I got really good reviews, and that was well worth it to me. But seeing, you know, going from 3 years of praying this is going to work to seeing your sales go from 1 a day to 10, 20, sometimes 30, 40 products a day. I've never made that kind of money in my life so far. And, you know, this might be small or big numbers for some people, I don't know. But, you know, waking up at 4 in the morning and looking at your phone and you made $1,500 that day, it's going to take a very manly man to tell you that I cried that morning. I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this isn't real. It doesn't feel real. You try to tell somebody like my old man, hey, I made $1,500 in my sleep, and the day has barely begun.
Wow.
He's gonna call you a liar. He's
Wow.
gonna say, don't lie to me, boy. That ain't right. It's really a mind altering and very life changing thing when you see stuff like that. Phenomenal. It's hard to describe. It's awesome to see the fruit of your labor come to life. It's extremely rewarding. But that goes hand in hand. Put in the work, put in the time, you will see results. And I mean, until very recently, last December, that became very believable for me. And I'm like, holy crap, this has a lot of potential. I can maybe take this somewhere, Right now, it's only going to stop if I give up on it.
Wow.
So here we are. Yeah.
That's good, man. So that's amazing. What would you say so far has been your favorite aspect of the entire program and working with the team? Like what? Because I always like hearing like what is working so we know what to drill in on and how we can really just serve people at a higher level and help them get better results. So what would you say from your perspective has been your favorite aspect working with the team or the program or the curriculum or our calls? Just so not only others can know a little bit about the program, because I think something we don't do the best job of is really publicly showing people inside the program and what the program is. Because like you said something really key, there's a lot of scams out there and there's a lot of bad programs out there and there's a lot of people, like let's face it, we all know marketing is a business, right? And a lot of people, like they say, like you told everybody, do your due diligence, do your research. My net worth came from selling things online and from my Amazon business, right? I was almost forced into this business, which a lot of people don't know, but my mentor, who was a manufacturer, told me to get into Amazon, talked to me about Amazon, and it started Etsy and eBay, and then it went into Amazon, and long story short, he loves Gary Vaynerchuk, and he just said, start documenting stuff. And if you go look at some of my old stuff, it is horrible to watch. I'm dry as all get out. There's no fancy production. Like right now we're in my studio and I have this team. It's just me in our warehouse, 30,000 square foot warehouse. And I'm shipping out truckloads of product every single week, just documenting the process. So like, what would you say is your favorite part of the entire program or, part of the program?
The resourcefulness and the level of skills that the coaches have. The coaches, the way that you guys are set up, you have one coach for product research. You have one coach for the branding, how to build a brand. You have one coach for their PPC. The coaches are astronomically knowledgeable in their field, and they're good at what they do. I didn't know this, but once you pass the 10K mark, Amazon sends you a little wake-up email saying, hey, you made 10 grand in sales. You need a commercial insurance for your products now. And that was a panic attack moment for me. Like, what do you mean I need a commercial business insurance? That sounds like it's going to wipe out what little profit I made, right? Because you go to, my family has a background in construction. You hear these horror stories of what they have to pay for insurances, in case their equipment falls over, does whatever. That was a very scary moment for me. And again, I was having a panic attack, and it was all in here. I was scared for no reason. So I reached out to the team and say, hey, where's a good spot to even look for insurances that specialize in Amazon inventory? Mm-hmm. This is also another little niche that's not out there. And Mr. Henry Cruz, he pointed me in the right direction, and come to find out, when you're around 10 grand in sales with Amazon, the insurance policy to run this business is $500 to $1,000 a year, depending who you go with. And there's a few of them out there. Send out a request. You get all the quotes. Pick out the one that works for you.
Wow.
So I that's what I like. The coaches are extremely knowledgeable in their field, and you guys are very resourceful. When I get stuck, I reach out. Yeah, no problem, Rich. Check out this group right here, and they send me a bunch of links to go check out.
Wow.
That is awesome. Saves so much time. You can
phenomenal.
do this by yourself. It will take you a lot longer,
Wow. So. That's extremely crucial, resources and becoming resourceful. I can't, like, people oftentimes, like, when you have a pony in the race, it's hard to get people to understand things. So when I tell people that there's only two ways that you can learn something, you can learn it through the trial and error, as long as the resources that you spend, whether it's time and money yourself or from those of others, people don't get it because, yes, it's me. I'm the Amazon guy. I'm the founder of the program. Yes, it is a course. Of course, he's going to tell us that because he wants our money. However, I'm telling you what I do because I cannot lead where I will not go, and I cannot teach what I do not know. The biggest, and I read this one book once a quarter, and it's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And in The One Thing of Gary Keller, the whole premise of the book is how to identify quantum leaps, how to literally pull levers that get you massive momentum in your life, right? And the thing that has done that the most for me is mentorship, right? Is literally programs. And now what I do, like people say, well, Josh, how did you get so good at speaking? How did you get so good at this? I find the best in the world and I literally pay them what they want. And here's how my level of thinking. If I can out-earn what it cost me, it doesn't cost me anything, it makes me something, right? And it's that level of literally, I'm gonna do it all on my own. Guess what? I did do it all on my own. And I didn't have a mentor, right? I had a mentor, but I didn't have an Amazon mentor, and I didn't have anyone to teach me all of this stuff. And as a result, I have hundreds, if not thousands of hours of my life I will never get back when my kids are growing up, right? I have tens of thousands of dollars spent that I will never get back, right? I'll tell you one instance. Matter of fact, I'll tell you two instances. I'll give you a 6-figure instance and I'll give you an 8-figure instance where I messed up. And you guys know in the inner circle, my number one goal is to really propel you guys. I'm hoping, I pray that our calls on the inner circle, when I hop on there, that is the true value in the program. And I'm constantly trying to identify where have I lost opportunity or where have I lost money. So if I can tell you where I've lost opportunity, you can maximize on that. And I can tell you where I lost money, you can make sure it doesn't happen. That's a pothole that can be curved. We had a shipment, and this is an entire truckload, right? You have LT, you have less than a truckload, and you have a full truckload, right? That's the two ways that you can ship stuff when you have 3PLs or you have a warehouse. We shipped an entire truckload, 6 figures worth of inventory right before fourth quarter, end of third quarter, preparing for fourth quarter, the most profitable time of the year, to Amazon. And I didn't have track record of the BOL, which is the bill of lading. And for those of you that don't know, when you ship truckloads, the guy comes in the semi-truck, we load up all the inventory, right? And then they take pictures, they document it, all of that, and there's this little tag that they have to put on the truck, and you have to have that documentation, that tag number, so on and so forth. That's the tracking of the truck and what's within the truck. Well, I didn't have any of that, and the person that was doing that there at the warehouse for me didn't have any of that, and guess what happened? The entire truckload went missing, and when I went to file a claim or a case, I didn't have the BOL, I didn't have the truck, I didn't have the logistics paperwork, right? And Amazon said, hey, we don't know where this is. As far as we're concerned on our records, it doesn't exist. So $100,000 plus in inventory that disappeared. So not only did I lose on the cost of the raw materials and raw goods, I lost on the opportunity because that $100K in inventory was going to be $250K, $300K worth of product. That was one mistake. Another mistake is at the height of our business in around 2017, our business was worth about $30 to $50 million. I didn't know that you could sell a business. I was grateful to God that I was able to retire my wife, retire my mom, and someone with no education, with multiple felonies on their record, grew up in the hood, was able to provide for my family, right? Because when you talk about sacrifice at that time, I was sleeping on an air mattress in the living room. My kids had the one bedroom. I was volunteering at the Salvation Army for my kids for gifts and for clothes because every single dime I had went into my business. And I didn't know about that. And things have changed. The multiples on selling e-commerce-based business back then were a lot higher than now. Can you still sell your business for a good multiple? Absolutely. Is it still a profitable business? Absolutely. But that was an 8-figure mistake because I had stinking thinking, right? My mentor was self-taught. I was self-taught. And just like you mentioned, When I looked at people who had education or had mentorships or had programs, I'm not going to give this guy my money. I'd rather just learn the stuff myself. So if you guys take anything from me or anything from Rich, because you see it from my perspective, you hear it from my perspective, but now you hear it and you see it from Rich's as well. Success has a need for speed, and I'm here to tell you guys it is easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little bit of money over a long period of time. So, man, that is huge, Rich. That you've dropped so much game. I don't even think I want you to go back and rewatch this episode because I don't even think you realize how much game that you've given here today. What is your future goals for the brand? More products coming. What is your future goals with the brand? Your future goals with entrepreneurship? Where do you want to be at in the 3 to 5 years from where you are right now with this whole thing?
100%. My products have opportunities to where I can build upon them. I can have other products accompanying them. I would like to have at least 4 products, flowing. I would like to be able to, those that have the will, those that have the understanding, I would like to teach, friends and family that this is a feasible, possible thing. I would like to wake other people up, and you don't have to get stuck into this whole, rotting at a desk or at a 9 to 5. There's other options there. We're at a new day and age, man, and this type of thinking could be traced all the way back to that Roman Empire, right?
Wow.
You gotta raise good workers. You go to the school. My schooling didn't teach you a darn thing about financials, not a darn thing, but it taught you how to do hard work. Work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. Okay, work hard and then what? And then die? No, that's not a good deal, right? So, there's a system in place that's designed to make you good little worker bees for other big companies. Well, wait a minute. Why can't I be the big company? Why can't I be one of these that have a brand? So I wish to bring more awareness that, average Joe like me, there's other options out there.
Absolutely. Well, there you guys have it. I mean, this time flew because Rich was dropping so much game. Like, man, Rich, I can't wait to see you crush it. I can't wait to see you to take this brand. I already see where the brand can go, and we talked a little bit off camera, and we'll talk more about it, but I've already seen where your vision is and where the brand can go. I think you're going to crush it. Like, I'm grateful to be able to be in the position to help you, and I'm super excited, and I'm sure that all the listeners and viewers got a ton of not only motivation and inspiration, but education from where you are in the trenches and how you persevered. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the channel and sharing your insight and sharing game with others, man.
No problem. Thank you, man. And everybody out there, Josh doesn't need to do any of this stuff, man. He's well established. He's good. His kids are good. His kids are going to be good. He doesn't need to be doing any of this, So you know what, Mr. Josh? Thank you, man. I'm honored, and I very appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rich. It really does mean the world to me, man.